Bienvenidos, genre fans across the planet. Jaime En Fuego here from Enfuegotainment and the Horror Show channel. And this is my third and final of my 6 picks for the closing weekend of Fantasia Festival that I've had the awesome opportunity to cover as virtual press because, I'm down here in the deadly desert of Arizona. But, I had to give just as much exposure for those who may be up there and stumble upon this final weekend preview video, or for those who are just looking for things to have on their radar for, when they hit, limited theatrical or VOD, or, in some cases maybe get picked up by Shudder or Screenbox or something like that. So there has been a very exciting bevy of all kinds of different genre stuff, from, horror, fantasy, science fiction, with dramatic and comedic elements all melded together. And so these are my 6 final picks because, first we did 6 and we did 6 more. Now this is the final 6. So, guys. But first and foremost, I have to just at least give one honorable mention. And that's because of the fact that it actually, I mistook my schedule, and this premiered and only had a single showing. And that was a film entitled The Book of, I'm going to butcher this unfortunately, Sijjin and Illiyyin. Illiyyin? Oh, goodness, God, Fuego. So this is an Indonesian film, and I thought it had a second screening that was happening a little bit later in the weekend. Nope, it actually screened yesterday on Thursday at Fantasia as of this filming. And so, but I just got to say that the trailer and just the synopsis sound very interesting. So I guess in the religion of Islam, there are 2 different books, one being the aforementioned Sijjin, and then the other one being the Illiyyin. And so in the first book, all of your actions over the course of your life are apparently recorded in their religion. And then if you have something that is done with, like grace and nobility and selflessness and whatnot, that's where you actually get your stuff recorded in the second book. And I'm assuming, I was raised Christian. I know that they all share the Old Testament, the Jewish religion and Islam and Christians and everything, but everybody diverging from there. But just having your actions and the type of behavior that it was and how that weighs out into where you end up in the afterlife, so to speak. But being an Indonesian film, but also from the trailer that I saw, first and foremost, there's some gnarly imagery, but I dig the fact that it's about this young girl who was kind of bullied and mistreated, less fortunate, all these other things, and now she's working for this rich family, and she is still experiencing a lot of the same, and she pursues some, forestly witchcraft to kind of curse this family, and how everything goes down. So this is one that I really wanted to at least make mention of, even if I'm not going to be able to direct you if you happen to be so lucky to be up in Montreal, Quebec, Canada, for the final weekend of this festival. But yes, the Book of Sijjin and Illiyyin, definitely going to be badly pronounced, but I just wanted to at least make mention of this particular genre one because, the screener obtained, and very much looking forward to watching this myself. So next up, we have a film that is actually the day of this filming having its one and only screening, and this is a film entitled Lurker. Now, this is a flick about a pop star. I've seen the trailer. We actually reacted to it on the Horror Show a few weeks ago when I was present for that filming. And you have a friendship that is struck up between a guy who was a regular person, I guess. I think he works at a clothing store, record store, something like that. In any event, he becomes buddies with this pop star guy and joins his inner circle of people. And he seems to have become fast friends with this guy. Sorry, I'm just making sure that I'm actually looking at it properly, because this actually comes to us from writer-director Alex Russell, who has done a lot of acclaimed work on The Bear and the miniseries Beef. And so, as this particular character, I believe his name is Matthew, gets closer with the pop star guy, it seemed to me like there was kind of a low-key romance maybe on one side from the trailer, maybe the fan obsessiveness and everything. I don't know. It looks like a very intriguing dark thriller with a great presence of musicianship, musicality, kind of the electroness that I dig so much in a lot of these flicks. So it is playing one night and one night only as of this filming on Friday at 9 p.m. Eastern, 9:25 Eastern. Great thing about this, though, for anybody who may find some interest in the premise of obsessiveness and fandom and infiltrating, these circles of prestigious people, or I guess all of the people who, almost like pop star Never Stop in the entourage of peeps that are just like, yeah, we want all of your money and, just clout and whatnot, and we're just going to hang around, so to speak. But this actually releases, I believe, across North America, or at least here in the States, on August 22nd in theaters. So Lurker is something to keep your eye out for as well. So now on to my second proper pick. And this is one that is giving me some major shades of a film that's actually coming in September that I have been waiting to see on screen for a long time, entitled The Long Walk, which is a Stephen King under the pseudonym of Richard Bachman short story. But in any event, this does feel like it could have gained some inspiration from it. It is a United States film, as I should have also probably specified Lurker that I just mentioned, also a U.S. film. But this film, the third one that I am mentioning, is called The School of Duel. And the reason I make the Long Walk comparisons, and I guess you could for any sort of deathmatch thing involving kids, I mean Battle Royale, maybe for more contemporary audiences, the Hunger Games sort of stuff, but the fact that this actually takes place at a school, there's this kid who's bullied, and it is kind of dystopian. I think it's like the independent state of Florida, so this deals with even certain themes that I remember from the A24 Alex Garland movie Civil War last year. So this is dark dystopian thriller, and there is apparently some sort of violent competition that kids can sign up for across the state of Florida. So it looks very surreal and very scary in the themes that it's exploring. This is the kind of film that I know would make people on both sides of, like, gun violence pro or anti Second Amendment stuff like that. This is a film that looks like it's going to hit very close to home. I believe our star was in a film called Marshmallow that came out earlier this year that actually had some buzz when it had limited theatrical release. So yeah, The School of Duel, it already premiered on the 31st, so as of this filming yesterday, on Thursday, but it does show again on Saturday, which would be tomorrow, Saturday, August 2nd at 12:05 p.m. Eastern Time. So if you happen to be at the festival and are trying to look for something to check out during that particular time slot, but I'm trying to obtain a screener of this one as well so that it can get its review proper. Next up, we have one that I know, at least as of this filming, is not going to be anything beyond in person. And it's easily one of the most prestigious, man. I mean, this is coming at us from the daughter, I believe, of the dearly departed George A. Romero, the grandfather of zombies, as a lot of people like to say. But so his daughter, I'm just trying to make sure that I have her name proper. So Dina Romero, so she directs this. It's her feature debut, if I'm not mistaken. She also co-wrote this. But the cool thing is that this is very much like an LGBTQ plus like slant on this whole subgenre of the flesh eaters, because it takes place at a drag show, and I believe the lead actress is actually the bodybuilder from Love Lies Bleeding, Katie O'Brien. Yeah, and so she was riveting in that film. I know she's done her fair share of a few other things here and there, but yeah, I was locked in with her performance in the film with K-Stu, Kristen Stewart. And so, this is essentially about Dre, who is putting on this drag show, trying to reconnect with her wife, who is a nurse who is trying to come across town, and so they can meet up and just try to both stay alive. And there's a whole troop of other people that some supporting characters that I'm especially stoked to see Margaret Cho in this movie. Margaret Cho, gosh, I always forget how to properly pronounce her last name. But yeah, this seems like a very fun slice of like dark, horrific comedy. Hope it brings the gore. Unfortunately, to the best of my knowledge, as I said, though, it is an in-person only thing, and I believe it is a world premiere, if I double check, international premiere. So this has screened at a different place already, but in any event, so this is going down on Saturday, August 2nd, as in mañana of this filming, at 9:30 p.m. Eastern Time. So if you are in person, and I'm not sure if it's sold out or not, but this is definitely one to keep on your radar, just more so than anything because of the clout of it. it doesn't always happen that the progeny of these very talented, influential people, like the apple, not falling far, that doesn't always prove to be the case. I mean, but then, you have like the Joe Hills of the world, son of Stephen King. So, that's definitely something to keep in mind. And Queens of the Dead has been on my radar since I first heard about it, and it shall continue to be. But if you happen to be in person, yes, make way. Next up, there is a film. So this is a co-production between, I believe, Mexico, España, and Argentina. And so the three nations all like financing this together. But I do believe it takes place in Argentina, and it is a film translated to the VIRGEN of the Quarry Lake. And so there is a small teaser, I believe it was on Vimeo, that was attached to the synopsis of this. But this is about the three friends in Argentina, as I said, and they're all graduating high school, or they have just graduated high school, and they're all fawning over the same guy. But this is all transpiring when there's all of this mass violence going around. I want to say it's right around the turn of the 21st century, maybe 2001, 2002, something like that. But yeah, the trailer is pretty gnarly, and it has a lot of style to it, especially with the synthy English language pop song that pops up. The pop song pops up during the trailer, and I guess there's some witchcraft involved in this one as well. An older friend that's a lot crazier than them shows up, at least from what the synopsis was telling me. But yeah, this one is a big time interest for me. This one also screened already on Thursday the 24th, so this actually had its debut almost a week and a half ago. But it is going to be screening one additional time Saturday, you guessed it, the final weekend, Saturday August 2nd, and that screening is going down at 9:35 p.m. Eastern. And so now we have one that when I realized that the book of Sijjin and Illiyyin had actually not a second feature that was second screening that was going to be showcased. Sorry, derp, losing ratings here. But I knew that I had to slide something else in, and it was one that had been on my radar, but I wasn't going to put it in because of the fact that it already had its actual theatrical release in Korea in April. But it's a film entitled Holy Night Demon Hunters, and I immediately recognized one of the stars in this. It's a gentleman, one of his stage names at least, Ma Dong-seok. I know I had seen him in, I believe, Train to Busan. I know he was in Marvel's Eternals, which is one of his, what a lot of Western audiences, if you're not into, the amazing zombie, instant classic that was Train to Busan. But yeah, so the title is very indicative, Holy Night Demon Hunters. So in Seoul, there is a wave of all kinds of unexplained craziness that's going down, and there is a special demon task force that is led by Ma's character. And so, it looks stylistic and bloody, definitely with its fair share of action from the trailer that I have seen for it. And this one is actually playing on, it is a one-day only screening. So this is at 4 p.m. Local time, Eastern time, out there in Montreal, Sunday, August 3rd. So once again, South Korean film, and they always seem to bring it. I mean, one of my favorites of the festival thus far that I already shot a review for the Horror Show channel was a film called Noise. And so, big fan of that one. Big fan of pretty much, whether it's, The Wailing, not to be confused with the Spanish language one that's filming here, but, The Wailing, I believe, was from 2015 maybe. And then last year, Exuma was really rad status. So, it doesn't really matter if they're trying to be super serious about it or if, they're going for a slight bit more cartoonish over the topness, which I kind of gauged from the trailer for this. But so Holy Night Demon Hunters, that is showing on Sunday. And then last but not least, this is a film that actually already debuted as well, but there is going to be a final encore showing on Sunday at 11:45 a.m. Local Eastern time in Montreal for Fantasia. And it's a flick called Burning. And so this is one where I'm just trying to double check on the pronunciation of the country. Well, I guess I'll just give it my best. Kyrgyzstan. So this is one that the synopsis is rather vague, but anytime I have the opportunity to encounter horror from a different part of the world and just see how they embody and just visualize similar fears, because I think that there are those like kind of universal sort of like apprehensions and like things that just imbue an uneasy nature amongst people, and one of them I think is gossip in a lot of ways. When especially when you're in a smaller town where like everybody knows everybody, and so everybody is all up in everybody else's business. From the synopsis that I read, this flick most definitely deals with that, because burning, as in the title of the translation, there's a house that seems, based on the vagueness of the synopsis, that was burned down, and yet there's all of this like chitter chatter amongst the town as to how and why it happened. There's the discussions of, I believe, black magic, alcoholism, like all kinds of different things. And so this is one that I am definitely hoping that I can obtain a screener for, because of the fact that, as I just mentioned a moment ago, when you have the opportunity to see how people handle just things that make them uneasy and scared and frightened in different parts of the world, it always gives a lot of perspective to those of us, myself being here in the U.S. and in the deadly desert of Arizona. As I said, it's just a little bit different, and just the nuance of how that sort of fear is manifested on screen is always interesting. So that is the end of my final weekend preview for the third and final, my last 6 picks. Yep, so I did 6 picks weekend 1, 6 picks weekend 2, and that is the final 6 of the 666. In any event, guys, reviews coming for, I said Noise, we did Hold the Fort, there's a few others, Dog of God, Foreigner. I mean, they're all kind of sprinkled between my channel here, if they're not really on the super spooktacular side, or, if they're like full-blown, just spooktacular, then if they're scarific status, so those will be on the Horror Show channel. But I extend the grande gracias. I've been Jaime En Fuego. You can find Juan on all social media sectors: Twitter, X, Instagram, Facebook, YouTube. I have a Threads and a TikTok. I mean, I don't really use them for very much, aside from occasionally throwing up a short, real review out of the theater kind of thing. I mean, for the most part, it is the Twitter X, and then the Instas, as the kids like to call it. But man, what an awesome opportunity to be able to cover this fest virtually. I am still kind of tinkering with the idea of if I should do like a countdown of my favorites of the things that I watched, and give just like a brief final rundown of all of those on top of little individual reviews. That's what I'm kind of debating at the moment, if I will have time for, especially if it ends up having to be like a little later into next week. But more so than anything, it was just great to see in these international film festivals the perspective of how, as I said at the very end of talking about burning, just how other parts of the world just take their imagination, and through the just lens of genre, something that is otherworldly in some particular fashion, even if it's very street level, there is often something like gritty and dark, or if it's like high concept fantasy, because there are certain things I didn't get the chance to get to, some animated things. Frank Helda was great. So I mean, it's just been such a awesome myriad of different things here at the festival. So a big danka, arigato, gracias, merci. Thank you so very much for the opportunity. It has been a blast. And, once again, a grande gracias to anybody who happened to check out this third and final video of, previewing this last weekend of Fantasia 2025. So I've been Fuego. Y'all have been Rad Status. And I'll finish it up, as we always say, on the Horror Show channel, at least, youtube.com/the Horror Show channel, even though you're watching this on Enfuegotainment. But, stay scared, genre fans.